Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this news video. I am the Ninjineer, and the topics we're covering today are as follows. Wall Street Journal article and response from Aptera. Telo Trucks video. Elon's pay package success. Aptera's battery validation video. Fisker's bankruptcy, and things that I liked. Let's get started. So I'd initially planned to cover this cover this story in an entire video, but then I realized that I do not want to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do like a compressed version of what I would have done if I were doing the video in its entirety and just have it like a little section in this video. So ordinarily what I do when I'm debunking news stories, as you guys know, is I follow the money, figure out who the person is owned by and what interests they may or may not have, and then cover the claims in the article in kind. So I'm going to do an abbreviated version of that. So, who owns the Wall Street Journal? This gentleman by the name of Rupert Murdoch. Who is Rupert Murdoch? He is a gentleman pictured here who owns a lot of different things, including oil and gas industry sorts of situations. So the Wall Street Journal has an incentive to do what their sponsors or owners or whatever you would like to call them want them to do. Now, whether or not they do that, I do not know. I don't know what's behind the scenes, but I do know that when you are owned by an oil company, it's not looking good for you talking about EVs or any sort of clean energy business, just in general. So yeah, just that's the context. That's where the money is. Oil industry is funding Wall Street Journal in at least some way, shape, or form, or so I assume based on their owner. All right. So now we're going to talk about the first actionable claims in the article that I found, which was the following statement. The companies have sometimes misled investors as they burn through tens of millions of dollars, struggle to generate sales, and continue to seek more money according to people close to the companies, internal documents, and whistleblower complaints filed with the Securities and Exchange Commission. Now, you'll notice that most of that sentence is actually not actionable. We cannot figure out whether or not these things are actually happening, struggling to generate sales and all that kind of stuff. But it's worth noting that you can't generate sales for a product that doesn't exist anyway, so struggling to make sales is a weird statement because they're not selling anything at all yet. They don't have a product. They are producing a product that they will sell come next year. So weird wording there kind of makes me consider the fact that they might not know what they're talking about. They might, but they might not. Anyway, they have sought more money, so that is accurate. Internal documents and whistleblower complaints filed with the Securities and Exchange Commission is the sentence that the portion of that sentence that I'm going to focus on here. Mostly because that is an actionable thing. We can actually look that up and figure out what actually has been filed with the SEC. So I did just that. Okay, so I went to the SEC's website and I looked through all of their enforcement actions. This will tell you all of the things that are going on for enforcement of stuff that companies have done wrong or something like that. So I went to all of the categories you see here, and here's what I found. Under litigation releases, no matches at all. Under administrative proceedings, no results at all. Mind you, I am viewing everything that's on the SEC website. I should be able to see if they have any litigation based on administrative proceedings or litigation releases as of this point. commission opinions and adjunctory orders, yeah, nothing shows up. No results match the chosen filters. The theme continues all the way down, but there's a note here that I would like to make, because if you would like to search this on your own, accounting and auditing enforcement releases, for some reason, you have to go through the entire thing. You have to scroll from top to bottom and read each and every one of those. If you don't want to do that, let me save you some trouble. Nothing about Aptera. All right. Trading suspensions. They were not suspended from trading. No results match the filters. Enforcement is okay, I opened up two of those windows by mistake, sorry. Yes, and then there's distributions to harmed investors. This is if you had to pay investors for doing them dirty. This is another one of those categories where you have to scroll all the way down, and after scrolling all the way down, I will save you the trouble of looking through this unless you really want to. They're not there. So the first actionable claim that they made in this article was demonstrably false. That's not a good look for the rest of the article. As I read the rest of the article, they did speak a lot of half-truths and mix them with lies. That's basically the theme of the article, all the way down. Just boom, 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 boom. Just, okay, this is a thing that I can check into and look at. Oh, nothing there. Oh, this is a thing that I can check into and look at. Oh, not there. Yeah, so that was kind of the theme of the article all the way down, is just they're generally just making statements that aren't true. The very last claim that I'm going to talk about in this video is that they said that the vehicle, Anthony said in October that the vehicle is ostensibly done, even though several systems had yet to be built at this time, and the frame was undergoing a major redesign. Again, it's kind of a half-truth. Aptera didn't have some of the systems designed yet. However, they did have their body completely done. In fact, during that time frame, about 9 months ago, they were putting parts together for the Aptera body, the finalized production intent body. So it is impossible for them to have done a major redesign after cutting the presses and putting together parts. That was done. So somebody either had an incentive to lie about Aptera, or they didn't know what they were talking about. In either case, not a very good article. Just poorly written, in my opinion. There are some things, like I said, that were they told a lot of really interesting half-truths that kind of put them in, put the article itself in a light that made me think a little bit more deeply about the stuff that I had claimed about Aptera previously. There was a couple of things in there. None of them were like, oh, I have to make corrections weird or anything like that, but it was just like, kind of made me think a little bit. Yeah, but the major claims that they actually made that you could actually look up, that were actually factually possible to verify, were lies. So yeah, take that as you will. Wall Street Journal, not terribly accurate, at least in this particular case. Now, Aptera made a reply to, what seemed to be a reply to this particular article, and they basically said that we are happy to use crowdfunding to fund our vehicle, and we take the responsibility of that very seriously. We are not trying to rip anybody off, and we're almost there. That was basically the drive of the press release, and I appreciate that they did that, because it makes it abundantly clear that they are paying attention to what goes on around them, as well as they are focused on getting their product out to the public. So, yep, very strange Wall Street Journal article, and I feel like it's going to be one of those things that starts happening more frequently, because for the same reason that people were really, really down on Tesla, EVs will never work, blah, 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 tons of news articles like that. they were scared of Tesla back then. And they had good reason to be, based on how well the Tesla as a company is doing overall. I see Aptera as the automotive company that is going to teach everybody how to make an electric vehicle that is going to be popular to the masses. So yeah, I expect that they saw that as well and were like, we need to delay them, or we need to put some FUD out there to make people less intent on Aptera. Anyway, long story short, that was that whole thing. We're going to go ahead and keep moving. Alright, so there's another video put out by Telo Trucks that went into some details about some of the partners that they've come across when it comes to production and things of that nature, their prototype vehicles and all that kind of stuff. So they talked about Aria, because they are the company that's going to help them produce their vehicles. They talked about some other fun things in here. Let me see if I can click through. They talked about some of the fluid dynamics testing that they're doing with the exact same company that helped Aptera get their design hammered out. So a lot of interesting pieces of the puzzle here, and I cannot wait to see Telo Trucks and Aptera come out because they are both vehicle companies that could literally change what it means to be a vehicle in the first place. So it happened again. Shareholders voted overwhelmingly for Elon's pay package to go through. Why am I talking about this? What is the relevance? Well, for the people that need the context as to why I'm talking about this, give me just one moment. I'm going to tell you about that in just a second. But first, we're going to read a little bit of this New York Times article to kind of get some context as to where my head's at right now. Tesla shareholders have reaffirmed a pay award for more than $45 billion for Elon Musk, the chief executive, after it was thrown out in a legal challenge. The vote result, announced at Tesla an annual meeting at its headquarters in Austin, Texas on Thursday, is a strong sign that shareholders still believe in Mr. Musk, and it could persuade the judge who voted the award to reinstate it. Avoided the award to reinstate it. Support for the pay award made up of stock options would come as a relief to Mr. Musk's admirers, who feared that rejection would prompt him to spend less time managing Tesla or even quit. Okay, so to kind of put all of that stuff in perspective, there was a lot of talk and news coverage saying that basically Tesla was going to hand Musk a really, really large monetary paycheck, and that was wrong. They said they are going to pay this man a lot of money. The thing is, as you can see here, the pay package was made up of stock options. A stock option is essentially giving somebody the ability to buy stock of a company at a certain price. Elon basically said, hey, I want compensation in the form of the ability to buy a certain amount of the company's stock portfolio. That means that essentially he was going to put billions of dollars into Tesla in order to own the pieces of the company that he was going to get as a result of this stock trade. And so people saying that this is going to be a huge siphon of money out of Tesla did not understand the situation or were purposefully being misleading. And that's kind of a theme that I'm noticing when it comes to a lot of really big news companies talking about EVs. They are just, I don't want to say that they're doing it on purpose because I don't know that for certain, but it definitely feels purposeful when the facts of the case are very easy to find, when the facts of the story are easy to find and they did not find them, or they do not report on them in a way that makes their claims genuine. So, little scummy, little scummy. I don't like it. Aptera had a video that they released about the battery validation process, the stuff that they were doing to test the battery for rigidity and structural soundness over a long amount of vibrations and what have you. Say with confidence that their battery pack will last a long time. How long, we don't really know. Simulations of stuff are pretty darn good, but real world will have to verify their claims, in my opinion. But they're saying that they tested it or are testing it to 1,000,000 miles. So theoretically, the battery pack will last for 1,000,000 miles. I do not know that for certain, so we'll see when things happen. I thought a slightly unique or interesting piece of this video was when they were talking about, let me go ahead and back it up a little bit, when they were actually showing rather the process for sticking these battery cells in the I guess that's thermal paste or some kind of material to dissipate heat. Anyway, yeah, I've never seen that process done. I thought that was a cool piece of the video. They talked about the testing jigs and the actual tub itself. All sorts of really neat pieces in this particular video. It was a very fun watch. If you haven't watched it already, I would suggest taking a look. Alright, I'm not going to say I saw it coming, but I saw it coming. Fisker files for bankruptcy after suspending production, making them one of another of the many EV companies that have fallen by the wayside in the past few years. So I like this website. I don't know if they are always this this thorough, or rather this concise with what they say, but I like the way this article is written. Electric vehicle startup Fisker filed for bankruptcy protection late Monday with plans to sell its assets after recently suspending production. So they've stopped production, they're selling off their IP, and they are going to basically not exist as a company anymore. It's the second bankruptcy for an EV company founded by former BMW and Aston Martin designer Henrik Fisker. So this is the second time Fisker has tried to make it work and it didn't. That doesn't mean that he can't make it work later on. It's just going to be harder and harder as time goes on for him to gain the trust to get backing like that again, to build another company like that again. Oh, okay. So this one I didn't necessarily know. Fisker had loans from the U.S. government and things like that. That is interesting and could have an effect on some stuff happening later on with other EV companies in the future. I'm gonna look a little more into that because that needs some more sniffing around, in my opinion. Anyway, now it's time for things that I liked. The first thing that I liked was this interview with Drive the Lightning. Chad and Sarah interviewed Jerry and Helen. They are Drive the Lightning correspondents. They went down to the Aptera facility and they got to take a look at some stuff that nobody's ever seen before. They looked at the battery validation stuff, which was in the video for the battery validation. They got to show that a little bit before the battery validation video. So yeah, it was a good interview. Jerry and Helen enjoyed their time there. They got to do a lot of looking around and hands-on stuff. They got to see some things that no person outside of Aptera had really seen before this point. So very good video. I was just checking it out. Even though it is a 30-minute watch, it is a worthwhile 30-minute watch. Okay, anything that has to do with things that Aptera can use to improve their technology, I usually look at it, and I found this particularly interesting. Quantum dots quantum dot solar panels are a technology where they use really tiny microparticles of solar collecting material to bring in more sunlight than what you would be able to otherwise. You can tune it to a particular wavelength of light that it can absorb, all kinds of stuff like that. Theoretically, you can tune these to bring in much more solar energy than what our current solar panels can do. The downsides to it are its resiliency, its robustness, its ability to last a long time. Those aspects of these cells are not particularly great. Anyway, this video that I watched was called how quantum dots could change the future of solar, from one of my favorite channels, Undecided with Matt Farrell. He is always very balanced when he covers things of this nature. Anything science related, he's got this thing on lock, man. Every time I check out one of his videos, I learn something new, and I gain a perspective that I would not have gained going anywhere else. So I would suggest, oh my goodness, commercial. I would suggest checking this video out if you like learning things, and yeah, that'll be it for this video. Thank you all for watching and taking the time out of your fantastic Wednesday to take a gander at my channel. I appreciate all the new subscribers, by the way. There's like 40 some odd subscribers that came in the course of since the last time I talked about subscriber count and things like that. Thank you guys so much. Do all the YouTube-y things in the various links distributed about, and I'll catch you guys next time.